Hi there, I'm Josh Dent, third year sports coaching student at UCLan, and this is just a bit of an introductory video to explain my coaching performance and development session for my athlete Daniel Spencer. So basically, from all the performance profiling that I carried out on the athlete, we came up with the main attributes and skills that he needed to improve to become the best halfback that he can be. Was his in-game kicking. So obviously to start the session we needed to do a warm-up. So I decided to go with a dynamic warm-up to warm up the muscles such as the glutes, hamstrings, quads, your hip flexors, ankles, calves, and stuff like that, because they were the most important muscles to perform an effective kick. So Macmillan et al. In 2006 said that the results of dynamic stretching opposed to static stretching is that you become more equipped and you'll have more benefits for during the performance than you would with static stretching. So obviously that's why I use dynamic. And also Yamaguchi and Ishii in 2005 said that dynamic stretching increases leg extension power more than static stretching. So because we were using the kick, that's why I use dynamic stretching focused on the legs. So yeah, here is my warm-up. after the dynamic warm-up, the athlete is all warmed up and ready to get into the session. So for the first part of the session, I used blocked practice, and block practice can be defined as a practice schedule in which the performer repeatedly rehearses one task before moving on to another. So in this instance, that task was either a bomb or grubber kick, and then we progressed that further onto the game-based approach, which I will talk about later on. It's often adopted by coaches as it is seen as allowing the learner to refine all the necessary skills, and again in this instance the necessary skill for Daniel as a halfback is kicking. That was refined by Jones and Kingston in 2013. Also block practice, bit of the sciencey side, helps build up myelin. Fields in 2008 states that different signals have to travel down at the right speed, arrive at the right time, and coordinate precisely within 4 milliseconds. And myelin is the body's way of helping this to happen. And through block practice, and like myelin doesn't care who you are or what area of skill you are trying to build up. It just cares that you practice it. So you continuously practicing it with block practice helps achieve and make more of myelin. And you can't, once you've got it, you can't get rid of it. So another way of saying that is muscle memory. And in this instance, muscle memory for Daniel is the kick. So that in a game-based situation, hopefully he will be able to just catch the ball and kick it without really thinking twice, because it will be ingrained in his body to do so. So after that bit of block practice on the high bomb that Daniel's just done, we then moved on to the grubber kick. Still staying in block practice at the moment. I would have liked to have done a bit more on the high bomb, but because he was having relatively quite high success, we quickly moved onto the grubber kick to work on all aspects of kicking. In this clip you'll see me talking and telling Daniel of which ways to angle the ball compared to how I would put it on his foot for different outcomes. So whether he wants the ball to come back on himself, sit dead, or just carry on going through, or in which way he wants the ball to spin, so hopefully then result in either a try or a repeat set in a rugby league match. So yeah, you'll see that here. So Berry, Abernathy and Court in 2008 concluded that the implementation of game-based coaching may provide an improved method of training the perceptual and decision-making qualities of team sport athletes. So moving on from that blocked practice, you could see that Daniel had quite a high level of success within the Grubber Kick using block practice, and that was the whole point of him getting used to the movement, getting used to the type of kick, and just keep repeating it to get success. So now in this part of the session we moved on to a more game-based approach, and Grubber in 2009 stated that game-based training is increasingly being used as a means to improve the skill. So in this case it's the kick, that's a Grubber Kick. And more importantly, game-based training offers an additional challenge to team sport athletes that would not normally be present in non-skill related conditioned activities, like your block practice and your random practice. They also went on to state that studies investigating skill learning have reported greater improvements in skill execution and decision making following game-based training rather than involving repetitious technical activities. So in this, I brought in another athlete to replicate what would be in a game. So Daniel's going to be kicking into the goal, and there's going to be a defender coming from 10 metres out, and then even further, the athlete will be stood at first marker. So we'll be putting on more pressure on Daniel, and let's just see how he reacts to that, as you'll see in the video now. So after the game-based approach part of the session as well, the end part of the session, I then tried to reflect a bit with my athlete to see how it went for him and if he thought it improved, vice versa. So I used some different types of questions. So Griffin et al. Has some different types of questions using high divergent questions, so those that require expressions of choice. So for example, I asked my athlete, if you're in the part of the field within the 10 metre line, what are the options of the choice of kick? And he answered, you would usually use the grubber. And then there's low convergent questions, so those that require memory. So then I did ask him, where should the ball be pointing if you want the ball to come back on yourself through a grubber kick, because I previously showed him the different angles of where to put the ball so that it will come back on yourself. And then there was low divergent questions, so those that require solutions to new situations through problem solving. So I put, what kick would you usually use if you're in your own 40 metre line trying to get deep? And he answered with the bomb. He said he would kick it as high and as far as he could. So thank you for watching my session.